PantheonPlus.
One of the things about Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, the upcoming MMORPG by Visionary Realms, that I found most enjoyable is the detailed written descriptions of places in the world of Terminus. Whether through newsletters like Fairtale 101 from June 2019, or Welcome to Wild's End from the main lore page, these give us a glimpse into areas that haven't yet been shown. And even though they are at times mixed with concept art, we're still left, for the most part, visualizing these places in our mind's eye. In my previous videos in this series, I've tried to provide virtual tours of places with well-documented written lore using concept art and screenshots as visual aids. But this time I want to highlight some lore that was given during a video stream but never made it into a detailed written summary on the website. In November 2017, Visionary Realms hosted a stream called The Making of a City. During the stream, quite a bit of lore as it relates to Thronefast was shared by the developers. There was also concept art shown with detailed lore information not mentioned on the stream nor written down anywhere else. As well, there exists lore from other sources on the website that relates to things that were shown but not highlighted. So I'll try to tie all this together and provide a more comprehensive lore overview of the city of Thronefast. As always, keep in mind Pantheon's in pre-alpha development right now, and all this is certainly subject to change. But with that in mind, sit back and let's embark on discovering Thronefast. Our approach to the magnificent city from the rugged outskirts allows one to see the scale of the human capital. To journey to this place certainly gets a sense of arrival. The lore notes, true power speaks not a word, yet its presence is deafening. The city of Thronefast has been that presence for the humans for nearly 500 years, and to know their heights of power is to behold the capital, a breathtaking jewel in the light of dawn. Thronefast stands high against the Rhone Mountains. You can see that range to our left as we cross the bridge, their peaks almost at eye level, speaking to the human sense of place in Terminus. Recall, since founding Thronefast on the northern coast of the Bethrael Sea, no kingdom has moved so dauntlessly from survival to flourishing since that time as the humans. Now, before we enter the city, inspect the banners that drape its exterior. These regal accoutrements draw your eye not only to the entrance, but to the engraving below. It's noted there's a beautiful inscription on the bottom of that which alludes to the flavor and the ideology of the Thronefastian humans. What does the inscription say, you might be asking? Well, in its current state, it's comprised of two known symbols. The first and last symbols appear to be that of the sigil of Vale. Three inner symbols appear to be the sigil of Osirico. These are gods of the human pantheon, and as we'll see later in the tour, are represented elsewhere in Thronefast. But the message itself is incomplete. To fulfill our understanding, we must step into the city of Thronefast. Welcome to the first area of Thronefast, known as a killway. While useful in defending the city, fear not, as the city's protectors have been made aware of our tour and won't employ the defenses today. In the future, the killway will feature two great stone lioness creatures. The lion features prominently in the iconography of the humans, and is seen in many different aspects. Now recall the incomplete inscription we saw a moment ago. What makes these stone beasts truly significant is that they're flanking that particular inscription, which finishes the sentence which is inscribed there upon the outer city gateways. Once this feature is constructed, we'll certainly gain insight into the human culture. From the killway, we head left to the militant and civic side of the city. You'll see Camp Bedark before us as we head that way. This is the primary housing and training for garrisons of the Thronefast regulars. Bedark is a bulwark of the Thronefastian military built into the very walls of the capital itself. Any aspiring human warriors on our tour today may want to reserve their future footlocker while we're here, as if you are planning to be a human warrior, that would be where you would most likely start your journey, in or near Camp Bedark. As well, you future recruits may want to spend some time familiarizing yourself with Camp Bedark's footpaths, as the camp allows for rapid deployment within, on top, or outside the city. The features of Camp Bedark reveal some interesting lore. Note the carved wooden lion visages atop the roof, perhaps a vision of things to come with regard to the statues planned for the killway. The barracks appear to be the grounds for three divisions of Thronefast's military: the regulars, Pridemain, and the Lions. Be careful not to trip over the timber support beam here, known locally as the Rogues Highway, as local rogues have been known to use this to enter the barracks surreptitiously. Fortunately, most rogues lack the focus needed to complete their infiltration, being easily distracted by the next stop on our tour. To our right, we see the Bank of Thronefast, known as the Vassarin Trust. It is a bastion of opulence, well suited to its commercial role within the city, and a match for the grandeur of the city itself. To finance the human capital's many expenses, the Vassarin Trust is governed from a distance by the invested handlings of the priesthood of Viscera. One wonders if it's the blessings of Viscera imbued on the humans that has allowed them to flourish on Terminus. Speaking of flourishing, note the banners adorning the front of the building which bear the Thronefastian wheat motif of plenty. The Vassarin Trust is certainly a landmark, as well as a tribute to humanity's resilience in this world. As we've finished our tour of this side of the city, a quick stop at the local tavern is in order. So grab an ale and enjoy the sounds of the soldiers training nearby that provide chaotic rhythms of battle to ears of passers-by. Just keep an eye out for wayward arrows. We continue to explore the other, more spiritual side of the city. Firstly, we'll stop at the market stalls of Peacemaid Plaza. Although quiet at the moment, on a warm summer day, an orchestra of sight, sound, and smell greets the traveler who comes through Thronefast's main market square. The color of the awnings covering the stalls signifies the type of merchant occupying that stall. They may be basic, mercantile, priestly, natural, arcane, or militant. With this range of wares available, is it any surprise that Thronefast is described as a coastal seat of power that flourished into the preeminent trade and commerce hub on Terminus? From here, we are witness to one of the most defining places of any city on Terminus, the Arches of Havensong. This monument is a treasure of Thronefast. It's an iconic jewel within the heart of the city. As you know, Havensong was the first human city on the planet, only to be eradicated during the Deicide War. Avendir, the legendary leader of the humans, used this defeat to fuel Thronefast's birth, as his first act was to construct two arches from the dredged wreckage of Havensong, one signifying death, the other life. Furthermore, this purposeful approach to architecture defined Avendir's vision for his brethren, believing a city magnificent to the eye would inspire the citizens of it and yield the respect of visitors to it. But more than just a structure, the Arches of Havensong represent a rite of passage. According to the lore, it is said that to approach the people of Thronefast as a friend, you must share in the trial of their past, in form at least. When observing the arches, we're informed there's a procedure that every visitor to Thronefast has to go through. We don't know what that trial involves, but recall that the ruins of Havensong were thrown into the sea. Fear not, this tour will not require you to undergo the rite today, but consider yourself warned for future visits. Justice in Thronefast is meted out at our next stop on the tour, the Forum of Osirico. Daunting in its presence, the Grand Forum, House of Law, determiner of fates, stands as a stately lord to the northeast of Thronefast's main city gate. In providing justice to its populace, here priests of Osirico, with their arch advocates, weigh judgments in the balance, and citizens speak amongst themselves to the things of law and public interest, engaging in deep social discourse. But who is Osirico? We're told the lore component of this one here is in line with the human Pantheon, and the particular patron deity of this building is Osirico. He's known as the Blind Fatesmith. Osirico's craft transpires on the Anvil of Fates, which sits just outside the Forum where he hammers out the key events of all time. Of course, this is but an homage to the deity's crafting tool, as is the hammer of Osirico seen here and arrested mid-strike at the very moment of impact to forge the fates of man. Lying upon the anvil is the record of fates, whence unrecorded time rolls in across the face of the anvil, and Osirico will smash down with his hammer and record the major events. From there on, it is forever recorded. In practice, it is a winding work of art that, when followed, takes us on a journey throughout the Forum, to its heart at the origin and then high into the vaulted Dome of Time. If you look to the top of the building, you'll see the Dome of Time. What looks like metal bands crossing the dome is actually the scroll of the Record of Fates, winding around the dome. Our final stop on the tour today is the Temple and Causeway of Coursera. Listen closely and you'll hear the ambience of holy priests chanting. This holy temple of the Courseran priesthood is very much in tune with kindness, care. This is represented in not only the hymns of the priests, but the natural sound of water. In its final form, the whole front facade is this crystalline sheet of water. So we can see the connection between sights and sounds personified in this place. To end the tour, a fitting quote comes to mind. As Oni of Thronefast will tell you, there is an Osirican proverb that says, "The heart is trained by the ear." Thanks for joining me on this tour of the lore of Thronefast. The images used here were from a developer stream in 2017, so consider what Thronefast may look like now in 2020. While we wait to immerse ourselves in this world, I hope tours like this satisfied that itch to maybe imagine what it may look like in the future. If you're interested in talking more about Pantheon's development, come hang out with us on our weekly podcast, The Rewind, where we recap the latest Pantheon news, community discussions, and much, much more. I'll leave a link in the description, but until next time, cheers, and thanks for watching.